Oh boy. What is all that? What is all this? And then like starting another huge project in the middle of a huge project. What is it? So another lumber delivery. This is start building our deck or lanai. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, good morning. So as you saw from that little footage, we just received our order for what is going to be our deck or our lanai. Basically it's going to end up being a 12-foot by 24-foot deck off the front of the house. So that's what the material that showed up this morning was for. It's basically all the framing, just to get all the framing done, and it's going to be 6 by 6 posts, basically, you know, every 8 foot going around, and then that's going to be carried up to the roof. So that's what this video is. Part 1, I guess, of the deck build. To how many parts it's going to be, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a while before we get our Trex in anyway, because it's like a 6-week delivery time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, and we'll get started. So the very base of the deck is what this is going to be. They are 16 by 16 piers, and this is normally the way a lot of structures, homes, decks are built here in Hawaii. If you remember, under our house, it's the exact same setup. It's these same piers. They go up 4x4s to the 4x6 beams, which you see sticking out there. From the old lattice video, which was well over a year ago, but same setup. So this is going to be the base. So we will have to clear an area in the front, get everything measured out, get everything somewhat level. Because of the way that I'm building the deck, it doesn't have to be exactly level. It's more important that the piers themselves are, you know, level and plumb. But as far as them all being, you know, even together, it's not necessary for the way that I'm building the deck. And then if we go over here, you can see the lumber that was delivered. So we have the 6 by 6 posts. Like I said, that's basically going to be along the front and one on the side. Basically every 8 feet there's going to be a post, and that's going to go from the pier all the way up to the roof. And then all of the other related floor joists and wood for that. So that's going to be it. I guess we'll have to start getting the front measured out. Wow, that was tiring. I just moved all that wood here into the yeah, man. So my wife made the decision that she wanted the deck to get started, so that's why we have a load of wood showing up when I haven't even finished the shop yet. But the shop is going to be several more months, I'm sure, by the time I get everything done. I mean, getting the roof and all that. So I'm going to get started on the deck, get the framing done, and we can at least put down a few sheets of plywood, you know, to walk on it in the meantime until our Trex decking shows up, which we still haven't even ordered yet. Yeah, so many projects. It's looking like Fort Knox in here. Okay, good morning. It's another day. So I just want to do kind of a quick layout, I guess, of what's going to happen here. As you can see, I put a couple stakes in the ground here. That's going to be the rough corners of where the deck is going to be. Let me kind of back up here away from the house a little bit. So this deck is going to be 12 feet by 24 feet. So 12 feet coming out, which is where the corner post is there. And then 24 feet, which is the distance between this window and this window. It's actually, to the actual window sill, it's a few inches under 24, but the actual deck will be 24. So these are 24-foot 2x10s there, sitting against the house. This first video is going to be a lot of prep work, but once the prep work is done, then the rest of the framing should go pretty quick. And the way that this deck is going to be built, you saw the piers. Basically there will be 4 piers in the front here, so every 8 feet, and then there will be 4 piers 8 feet in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them will be, of course, under the deck, but they'll have the 6x6s coming up as support. So the way that I'm going to build this is I'm going to have 6x6 posts coming up from these piers. There's going to be 2x10s that are going to attach to those and then attach to the house. And then in between the 2x10s, I'm going to run 2x8s this way. That will be my floor joist, because ultimately we want the decking to come straight out from the house. And the reason for that is we can order 12-foot pieces. There will be no seams anywhere on the deck. And we wanted to have them kind of out. I know a lot of times, just like when you do flooring, you run it parallel to whatever the longest wall is, but we didn't want that here. The 6x6 posts will go up. They're 12 foot. They will be cut. You know, once the height is figured out, then there will be 6x6 posts going across the top and then back into the house. Eventually, we will be adding a roof to this, but for right now, there won't be, because sometime down the road, we're actually planning to build a second story here. So basically from about just this side of the door, which is where the main wall is that splits the house for the living room, the bathroom, kitchen. That's one wall. So from that wall, we're going to go straight up and then build a second level here. We're not doing the roof yet, because if we were to build the roof and tie it into this roof, we would have to tear all that down. And then, you know, I don't know when that's going to happen. That could be, you know, next year sometime. I have no idea. But I don't want to build the roof and then have to tear it down and then rebuild the roof. So in the meantime, the posts will go up, the cross posts or horizontal posts, and then we are going to basically just run a tarp from underneath the overhang out to there, just to keep rain off of the deck. So that's the plan, that's the idea. What's going to have to happen now is I'm going to have to start dismantling this little porch. Right now, all I'm going to be doing is taking off the railings. I'm going to need to pull the bottom piece of siding off of the house, get that exposed so I can see how I'm going to attach my 2x10. And then that 2x10 is going to be where the other 2x10s come in to join. So basically the 2x10s were going to be bolted to 2 6x6s at each location. So there will be basically 4 identical setups. And then in between those is where the 2x8s are going to go. If all of that makes sense. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to get to work starting to pull apart this deck and pulling this panel off the wall. All right, so I have all this stuff removed out of the way. I got the first section of siding pulled back, so that way I can get an idea of what I'm going to be attaching to. And if you pull the tar paper back, you can see there's a 2x6 here, and then that little gap is the subflooring inside the house, and then this is the wall. So a lot of people talk about, you know, building and stuff here in Hawaii. It's built pretty simply. I'm actually surprised that this is 16-inch on center, or it looks like it's 16-inch on centers, because sometimes it's not. So that 2x6 ties into the big 4x8, which I don't know if you can see it through the lattice. The joists that come across the top of that 4x8 are tied into this 2x6. You see the nail holes here. So that looks like a pretty solid spot for me to attach my 2x10 to. So the 2x10 is basically going to be butted up right to the bottom of the doorway here. And then from this cut mark, it's going to go all the way down here to where I put this line. So that's the exact distance of the 2x10, which is 24 1 1/8 basically. And then that will be my anchor spot against the house. Why are you following me, Jerry? Chicken's busy at work. So to give you the basic idea of what this is going to be, this is very old, of course. I mean, this was built, you know, when the house was originally built, like in '93 or something. But you see the pier here, and then 4x4. So it's going to be the same idea, but with 6x6s and, you know, newer, nicer piers. These old piers probably didn't have as good of a mix of concrete, because you can see that they're like really breaking down, same as the sidewalk over there. But that's going to be the basic idea. So it'll be 6x6s, and then 2x10s will tie into the 2x10 that I'm going to mount here. I wanted to go over real quick what's going to happen with my piers here. So you can see these piers come with straps on them, and this is fairly fairly thick metal, and it's built or set up for use with 4x4s or a 4x6. I'm going to be using 6x6s, so I'm going to end up having to cut all these off. And then what I'm going to do is I have these 6x6 plates. So basically what's going to happen is these are going to get cut off. I'm going to drill a hole in the center of this. I'm going to put this anchor in there, and then this will get bolted down to the anchor. The cover plate will go on top, and then the 6x6 will sit on there. I'll probably do one of these on camera, but I'm not going to show like doing all these. That's going to be quite a bit of work. Cutting the straps off, drilling a hole, putting the anchor in, and then mounting these 6x6 brackets. But that is what I'm going to be working with. So that's the foundation basically of my deck. So I have all of the siding off now in this section. I cut away the tar paper because I don't want to have that in between my beams. I went through and I marked, if it's going to show up, there's a little pencil mark, basically it's every 16 inches. And I did that where the beam has nails in it, so that I know once I put my beam up that I'm going to be using some headlock screws, and they're going to be at least 6 inches, so that they'll go through my 2x10, this 2x6, and into the beam that's under the house. That way it's securely locked in. I will, of course, be putting this in with nails just in between, and then I'll come back later and I'll add the headlock screws. I actually don't have any, so I think I have 2 of them left, but I'll have to go get another pack of those and put those on prior to, I guess, starting to put my hangers and all that stuff on, preparing it for the beams coming out. But that's still a ways away. I got to get all of the piers and everything set up first. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be cutting the porch off because it's actually attached to the 4x8 beam that's under the house. So I'm going to be cutting it off. Dogs are going to be all sad for a minute. I'm going to be cutting it off with a Sawzall, pulling it away. I'm going to be putting my 2x10 up, and then I will put the little porch back temporarily. So that's what's next. All right, well, that was pretty easy. So these boards are in here because back when before I got all my perimeter fencing in, and I just had fence going basically from the corner of the house around the trees and then back over to the corner of the house down there. The dogs only were in the front yard at that time. Hati, when he was smaller, he would actually go under the porch and he would jump through the lattice, and he would go through to the stairs on the other side and jump. There was the same spot because when I put the lattice in, it's basically cut in a straight line across there because of the beams for the porch. So he figured out how to jump through there, go under the house, jump through the other one, and then he would get out. And we would come home and he would be out of the yard. Luckily, he never ran away. Skull's always the one that takes off. So anyway, that's done. I'm ready to put this board up now. So this is a little tricky. Basically, I use that clamp down there to hold that in. I'm going to lift this kind of in place, put one screw in, go down, adjust the other side, put the screw in, and then I'll level it out, and then I'll start putting nails in. Yeah, working alone. That's right tight to there. So I guess I need to check the level. All right, so this end is a little high. I guess it'd be better if I had a bigger level, but this is all I have. So I'm gonna pull this out and drop this down a little. That's actually right on. So I guess just following the 2x6, that's pretty much right on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some nails in this. All right. I'm going to put a little more bracing on this porch, of course. And this is only temporarily going back in. Pretty much just so the dogs can still go in and out of the house. We don't usually use this door very often. So this is about done. I'm going to go and get started on the piers. Do a little bit of video on that. And then probably be close to wrapping this video up because I'm tired already. And there we go. I guess it didn't take as long as I was expecting. Hati's inspecting right now. Expecting, inspecting. So look good? Alright guys. Man, even though it was raining on and off today, it was really warm. I was like sweating buckets. And yeah, I look hot and sweaty. I need a shower. Okay, so that was quite a bit I got done today. Basically the house side is pretty much ready to go. The only thing left is I gotta go get some of those strong ties, the head screws, what I was talking about. Those are made by Simpson, you know, strong ties. They make all kinds of fastening stuff. It's basically just a really long skinny screw with a big head on it. Basically replaces lag bolts. So yeah, I gotta go pick those up. I'll put probably a couple dozen of them into I basically want to put 2 in on each joist that's coming to that 2x10, just to make sure it's super secure. And then I guess on the next video, now that I have the piers all prepped, is going to be starting to place them. Getting my area mapped out, measured. I got to start digging up some of the grass where the piers are going to go. I'm probably going to end up covering that whole area with weed mat. It would be nice to like have Taylor come and, you know, dig that whole area up, but I can't afford to have him come right now. So and he has like a 4-hour minimum anyway, so that's like a 20-minute job. If that, it would take longer to unload the excavator. So I will probably just dig up the areas where the piers are going to be, dig up the grass and a little bit of dirt, and then I'll put some gravel down and tamp it down so that it's level. So when the pier is set down on it, it's level. And then when I get ready to place the piers out, I will put weed cloth down underneath the piers. Long run, once the deck is built, I will be putting lattice, you know, around the outside, just like the house is, so that it matches. But I mean, that's going to be, like I said, long ways down the road. I mean, I don't know how long, but it's going to be at the end of the project. So yeah, next video I will be placing the piers. I keep moving the camera close to my face. And then possibly starting to erect some of the 6x6s, but we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 1 of the Lanai build, or deck build. So excited about that. Looking forward to having a place to sit and drink coffee in the morning, or a beer in the afternoon, or a beer in the morning. Whatever you do, whatever I do. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. I will see you on the next video. Aloha.